In the vast expanse of the galaxy, the Varokian Empire had long prided itself on its military might. Their fleets were formidable, their weaponry advanced, and their strategies nearly flawless. It was no wonder that when they encountered the human forces on the small, isolated planet of Epsilon 5, they regarded them with disdain. The humans had been deemed insignificant, a mere footnote in the grand scale of interstellar conflict. Commander Zorak, a veteran of countless campaigns, led the Varokian assault. His troops, a legion of well-equipped soldiers and advanced droids, were prepared to crush what they considered a trivial resistance. The Varokians had underestimated the human presence on Epsilon 5, dismissing their defenses as outdated and ineffective. The planet was rugged with rocky terrain and harsh weather, but it was home to a small human outpost. The soldiers stationed there were well-trained, but their numbers were modest. When the Varokians began their invasion, it seemed like a mere formality. They expected to sweep through the planet with ease. As the Varokian forces descended, the human defenders readied themselves for a fight they knew was coming. Sergeant Alex Harper, the leader of the outpost, gathered his troops in a makeshift command center. The soldiers were tired but resolute. They had heard the Varokian boasts and seen the advance of their enemy. They knew that their fight would be against overwhelming odds. "Listen up," Sergeant Harper said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "They think we're weak because we're outnumbered. But we've got something they don't: resolve. This is our home, and we're not giving it up without a fight. Remember, we've trained for this, and we're ready." The Varokians began their attack with precision, targeting key installations and fortifications. Their initial strikes were devastating, and it seemed as though the human resistance would crumble. But the Varokian commanders were about to discover a harsh reality: the humans were far from defeated. Under the cover of darkness, the human soldiers executed their plan. They used the terrain to their advantage, setting traps and launching guerrilla attacks. The Varokians, accustomed to facing large, straightforward confrontations, were caught off guard by the humans' tactics. The Varokian droids, while formidable in open combat, struggled with the unpredictable nature of the human strategy. One by one, the Varokian units found themselves ensnared in traps or ambushed by hidden human forces. Sergeant Harper and his team moved swiftly through the shadows, coordinating their attacks with precision. They used their knowledge of the terrain and their familiarity with the planet's quirks to create chaos within the Varokian ranks. The turning point came when the Varokian command post was struck by a surprise assault. The humans had managed to bypass the heavily fortified outer defenses and launched a direct attack on the Varokian command center. The chaos that ensued disrupted the Varokian operations, leaving them vulnerable to further attacks. As the days passed, the Varokian forces began to falter. Their confidence waned, and their once unbreakable resolve started to crumble. The humans, though fewer in number, demonstrated an unyielding spirit that their enemies had not anticipated. The Varokian commanders realized their mistake too late. Their underestimation of the tiny army had cost them dearly. In a desperate bid to salvage the situation, the Varokian Empire sent reinforcements, but the damage was done. The human soldiers, emboldened by their successes and driven by their desire to protect their home, continued their relentless campaign. The Varokians, now facing fierce resistance from a determined foe, found themselves on the defensive. The final confrontation came when the Varokian forces, exhausted and demoralized, were pushed back to their landing sites. The humans, though still outnumbered, had managed to turn the tide of battle. The Varokians were forced to retreat, their once proud invasion reduced to a hasty withdrawal. As the dust settled and the Varokians departed, Sergeant Harper and his troops surveyed the battlefield. Their victory was hard-earned and came at a cost, but it was a testament to their bravery and tenacity. The human soldiers had shown that even the smallest force, when driven by determination and skill, could defy the expectations of the most powerful adversaries. In the aftermath, the tale of the tiny army that struck back against the Varokian Empire became a legend. It was a story of resilience and courage, a reminder that underestimating the human spirit could lead to unforeseen consequences. The Varokian Empire would forever remember the lesson learned on Epsilon 5. Never underestimate those you deem insignificant, for they may just be the ones to turn the tide of battle.